So it's time to complete your first quiz review, and you want to make sure that you do it correctly. So there's a couple things you should know. Number one, I've already gone into my spiral binder. I've given a title here, Chapter 1, Sections 1 and 2 Quiz Review, because that's the title that's basically up here. So now I've got my sheet basically ready to go. So here's a general quiz review. It's got all the quiz review questions. Notice a couple of things. It's got the questions listed here, and these questions were basically pulled from the quiz, so they're important to make sure that you get the correct answers. Don't just guess at the answers. Make sure that you actually look the answers up, and for the most part, I've given you the page numbers where you can find those exact answers in the book. So notice I've got my textbook out, so I'm ready to go. Please get your textbook out and make sure you look these answers up. You want to make sure you get the right answer so that way when you study, you can get the correct answer on the quiz. So that's what I've got going. So first thing I'm going to do, I notice I have 16 here, so I'm going to start with number 1, and it says, what is a republic? What I need to make sure that I do is that I echo the question into my answer. So when I look for this answer, and I'm starting on page, it says page 11, and I start page 11. Oh, background knowledge. In about 509 BC, the Romans overthrew their king and set up a republic. A republic is a government in which citizens have the right to vote and elect officials. So in order for me to echo, I need to make sure I include this word, republic, into my answer. So that's what I'm going to do. So instead of just saying government in which citizens have the right to vote and elect officials, yeah, that's a republic, but when I have my quiz review down here, if I don't write the word republic, I'm not going to know what that answer is. And so I have to include both. So a republic is, and then I can look here, a government in which citizens have a right to vote, and then I'm just going to copy that down. And elect officials. Perfect. I'm going to underline this just to show that, look, I've included it in there, I've echoed. So now when I go back to study, and I've got my quiz review, because I know it came straight from the quiz, and I start reading this, a republic is a government in which citizens have a right to vote and elect officials. I've got everything I need there to make sure, as long as I know that statement, I'll be able to get that correct on the quiz. So I'm ready for number 2. Number 2 says, what is a myth? So before I even look the answer up, I can go number 2. A myth is, because I know that now I've already echoed the question into my answer. And so now I just go look that up. It says it's on page number 6. I'm going to flip back in my book to page number 6. And when I read, scoot that over for you, and when I read page number 6, it says, oh, a myth, an idea or story that many people believe but which is not true. So a myth is an idea or story, blah, 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 and you would complete the rest of that statement. So when I'm going through and I'm creating my quiz reviews, you got to make sure you're echoing. You won't get full credit if you don't. Make sure you echo so that way when you study, you've got all the information you need in order to answer the questions correctly on the actual quiz.